You'll never truly know what someone meant to you until their silence becomes louder than your ego. They thought you'd always be there. They thought your love was a revolving door. Leave, return, leave again, and you'd always be waiting on the other side. But here's the twist most don't see coming. You didn't go silent to make them miss you. You went silent because you were done explaining your worth to someone who kept pretending not to see it. Hey folks, imagine this for a second. You're the flame in a cold room. Not wild, not desperate, just steady, warm, always there. They bask in your light, take the heat for granted, and walk away thinking they'll find another fire just like yours. But when they come back, that room is cold, still, silent. And suddenly, it hits them. Not the absence of you physically, but the absence of what you brought. The emotional safety, the calm energy, the feeling of being understood without needing to explain a thing. That's what they lost. See, most people don't realize the emotional weight you carried for them until you stop carrying it. They don't notice the safety net until it disappears. And when it does, that's when their confusion begins. It's not loud. It doesn't come with tears or rage. It starts in the quiet moments, scrolling through old messages, wondering why you haven't reached out, trying to convince themselves they don't care, while replaying everything you ever said in their mind. Like the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. And your reaction was no reaction. That's the part they didn't see coming. They expected tears, questions, maybe even a final argument to feel like they still mattered. But instead, they got silence. And silence, my friends, is not a void. It's a mirror that forces them to look at themselves without your energy cushioning the reflection. Let's break a common lie here. If they don't reach out, it means they've moved on. Nonsense. Often the ones who look the calmest are the ones screaming inside. But pride won't let them say it. They keep up appearances while secretly hoping you'll break the silence first. But you don't. You've leveled up. You've stopped being emotionally available to someone who only valued you when they were lonely, not when it mattered. This kind of letting go isn't weak. It's not some romantic game of manipulation. It's power, real power, not the power to control others, but the power to stop being controlled by them. You're no longer hanging on to false hope. You're not sitting in the waiting room of someone else's emotional confusion. You walked out, calm, quiet, whole, and now they're confused. Not because of what you said, but because of what you didn't say. Not because of a fight, but because of your peace. Your presence is still in their life, but now it only lives in their memory. So if you're with me right now and you felt this shift, this moment when you stopped begging for closure and started choosing inner peace, I want you to comment it below. Peace over confusion. Let that be your affirmation today. Say it, write it, live it. And if this message is speaking to your soul right now, hit that like button and subscribe. We're only just getting started. Stay with me, because next we're diving deep into what happens inside their mind after you finally let go. And trust me, it's not the peace they pretended it would be. Number 1, the calm that replaced the chaos. When nothing is said, everything is heard. At first, they were confident, certain, maybe even a little smug. They thought they had time, that you'd wait, that your silence was temporary, a strategy, a bluff, a moment of pride you'd eventually drop. But what they didn't know, what they never saw coming, was that your silence wasn't about distance, it was about direction. You weren't just stepping back, you were stepping forward. Imagine this, my friends. Imagine a storm that's been raging for weeks. Thunder, lightning, torrential winds, It consumes everything. And then suddenly, stillness. The sky clears. The noise stops. At first, you breathe easier. But then, something strange happens. That silence. It starts to feel heavier than the storm. That's what it felt like when your emotional chaos disappeared from their life. You weren't arguing, you weren't questioning, you weren't chasing anymore. You were just calm. And this calm, it's not the kind you find in surrender. No, this is the calm that comes after acceptance, the kind that unnerves people who are used to controlling the temperature of your emotions. They could start a fire, then walk away, and still feel warm from the flames. But now the fire is out. The room is cold, and they don't know how to cope. They sit there wondering, why aren't they reaching out? Did they really let go? Are they done for good? These questions creep in, not because you said something, but because you didn't. Your silence is now their loudest conversation. They might try to rationalize it. Oh, they just need space. They're just playing it cool. But in the quiet corners of their mind, that's not what they really believe. The truth? They're scared. Because the person who once responded instantly doesn't anymore. The one who used to fight for clarity has chosen peace over chaos. And nothing confuses someone more than realizing you've stopped reacting. Let's break one of the biggest lies we're sold in relationships. The one who stays silent cares less. False. The one who stays silent often cares deeper. But they've learned that peace is more important than being understood by someone who never listened in the first place. You're not withholding love. You're protecting it. You're not punishing them. You're preserving you. And they feel it. Oh, they feel it. Because here's the truth. When you were emotionally present, they had a map. They could predict your steps, your reactions, your thoughts. But now, you're unreadable. That map is gone. The compass is broken. And now they're lost in a desert of their own design, unsure whether to wait, move forward, or look back. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." And you, my friend, are doing exactly that. You didn't scream. You didn't slam doors. You didn't throw cheap shots on social media. You just got quiet. And that's what's messing with them. That's what's shaking their false sense of control. Because let's be real, most people don't expect you to let go. They expect you to wait in emotional limbo while they explore their confusion. They expect you to keep the door cracked, to leave the light on. But not this time. This time, you took your light with you. And now, their world is a little dimmer. Sure, they'll pretend it doesn't bother them. They'll post, they'll laugh, they'll act as if life is perfectly fine. But underneath it all, that calm you left behind. It's louder than any goodbye you could have spoken, and every moment they spend sitting in it, they realize you're no longer the person who waits around to be chosen. You've already chosen yourself. So I want you to own that power right now. If you've felt this, if you've walked away not with rage, but with peace, drop it in the comments right now. I choose calm over chaos. Say it with your chest. Show them. Show yourself. Show the world that your peace is not up for negotiation. And stay with me, because in the next part, we'll go even deeper into what happens when they start pretending they don't miss you, but can't stop watching everything you do. It's not about you chasing anymore. It's about them waking up to what they lost. Keep walking. You're almost there. Number 2, the void. They pretend not to notice. We often don't realize what someone gave us until their absence becomes louder than their presence ever did. So here's where the real shift begins, folks. At first, they act unbothered, unmoved. They scroll through their feed like nothing happened. They laugh a little louder, post a little more, pretend they've never slept better. But deep down, where their pride can't cover the cracks, they start to feel something they can't explain. A weight, a silence, a kind of emptiness that doesn't make sense until they remember you're gone. Now they don't say it out loud. Oh no, they won't give you that satisfaction. Because in their story, they're the one who let go, the one who had options, the one in control. So they try to convince the world and themselves that your absence is irrelevant, that they're better without your steady energy. But here's the truth, my friends. It's not the big things they miss. It's the small, quiet ones. They miss the consistency. The way you always checked in, even when they didn't ask. The way your words carried weight, not noise. They miss the calm in your tone, the patience in your pauses. The way you listened, not to reply, but to understand. You weren't just a person, you were a place, a safe space, an emotional shelter they thought would always be there, even if they left the door open and walked out. And now, that shelter is gone. Imagine a bridge, solid, unshaken, holding steady no matter the storm. That was you. And for the longest time they danced on that bridge like it was permanent. But you stopped holding the weight. You stepped back. You became still. And now every step they take echoes in a way it never did before. Because what once felt like freedom now feels like falling. They won't admit it, but your silence is starting to scare them. Not because it's loud, but because it's honest. They know you're not playing a game. You're not holding your breath, waiting for them to come back. You're breathing differently now. Your peace is no longer tethered to their attention, and that shakes them. Let's kill a lie real quick. If they don't reach out, they've moved on. Nope. Sometimes the silence isn't proof of peace, it's proof of panic. But pride wears a perfect mask. It'll scroll past your profile 10 times and still pretend it didn't see your glow up. It'll miss you deeply and still say, "I'm fine." But that's the thing about voids. They don't go away just because you ignore them. They expand. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life." And your freedom, that's what they feel now. You're no longer emotionally available, and it's not because you hate them, it's because you love yourself. You stopped offering your light to someone who only appreciated the warmth after the fire went out. And the beautiful twist? You didn't slam the door, you didn't make a scene, you just stopped showing up in the way they expected. You became unavailable in the most graceful way possible. And now, the comfort they never thanked you for, that's the ghost that lingers. They sit with friends trying to distract themselves. They scroll, binge, pretend. But your energy? It's not replaced by noise. It's remembered in silence. That text they almost send but don't. That photo they hover over but never like. That message they write then delete. It's all part of the void, the one they pretend not to notice. But we both know. They feel it. So I ask you, my friends, how many times have you been the one who gave peace while someone else brought confusion? How often did your presence become their foundation, only for them to take it for granted? And now, how powerful does it feel to no longer be someone's emotional crutch? To choose yourself. If that resonates with you, I want you to own that shift. Comment below right now. I protect my peace. That's your truth. That's your power. Show them. Show yourself. Show the world what happens when calm people stop making noise for those who don't listen. And stay with me, because in the next chapter, we're diving even deeper. We're going to talk about the moment their confidence starts to break. When silence becomes a question they can't answer. When your detachment starts to rewrite the entire story they thought they had figured out. You don't want to miss it. This is where the confusion really begins. Number 3, the shift from confidence to doubt. Confidence built on control crumbles when the other person stops playing the game. They were so sure you'd come back, that you'd crack under silence, that the absence would be too much for you to handle. They thought they knew you, that you'd orbit around their gravity like you always had. One look, one word, and you'd fall right back in line. But something happened this time. You didn't. And that's when the shift begins. You see, folks, confidence built on assumption is fragile. It looks solid on the surface, cool texts, calm faces, public smiles, but underneath it, it's held together by one quiet hope that you'll still care more than they do. And when you don't, that confidence doesn't just wobble, it collapses. They start off acting like they've got it all under control. I'm fine, they'll text eventually, they always do. But the days pass, no message, no call, no little heart on an old story, nothing. And it starts to sink in. Maybe you're not coming back. Maybe you meant it. Maybe you let go. Not just physically, but emotionally. Now the questions come rushing in. Why haven't they reached out? Did I push them too far? Did I misread this entire thing? This is the part where the ego and heart start arguing. The ego screams, "I'm glad they're gone." But the heart whispers, "Why do I miss them then?" This is the storm they didn't expect, and they can't post through it. They can't distract it away, because your absence isn't just a silence. It's a mirror, one that reflects everything they didn't want to face. Let's pause and break a lie here. If they look confident, they've moved on. No, my friends, real confidence comes from peace. What they're showing is performance. And silence? Silence ruins rehearsed performances. Because when no one claps back, the act gets old, fast. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake, I will gladly change. For it is the truth I seek, and the truth never harmed anyone." But here's the catch. Most people don't want the truth. They want comfort. They want to believe they were right for walking away or for pushing you to the edge. But your silence, it tells the truth. Not with words, but with stillness. And that's the most powerful part. You didn't start this shift by saying anything. You didn't need a speech. You didn't need to send a long paragraph about how much they hurt you. You just stopped showing up in the way they counted on. You let go of being predictable. And that unpredictability, that stillness, it terrifies them. They don't know what you're thinking anymore. They can't measure your silence. They can't decode your calm. And that's when they go back in time, replaying old conversations, rereading old messages, wondering when things changed. But the real shift wasn't in what you said, it was in what you no longer responded to. That's what breaks their certainty. That's what shatters the illusion of control. And here's where your power really kicks in. Because while they spiral, you rise. You're not ignoring them to get a reaction. You're detaching to reclaim yourself. You're no longer trying to convince anyone of your worth. You're walking in it. And the more you do, the more their doubt grows. They remember how you showed up, how you gave without needing applause, how you offered peace when they brought confusion. And now, they wonder if they mistook your strength for weakness. So let's turn this inward for a second. Have you ever been underestimated because of your kindness? Have you ever been the consistent one, only to watch someone confuse your love with weakness? And now that you've gone quiet, have you watched them start to break down the very certainty they once weaponized? If so, drop it in the comments. My silence broke their illusion. Because that's what this moment is. Not revenge, not bitterness, just a quiet revelation. The moment they realize you were never the one who was confused. You were the one who finally stopped explaining your worth to people who measured it in convenience. And don't go anywhere, my friends, because the next shift hits even deeper. We're about to walk into the stage where their own mind becomes their worst enemy, where memories turn into mirrors, where every unanswered message becomes a voice they can't silence. Stay with me. We're just getting started. Number 4. Questioning the narrative they sold themselves. The story we tell ourselves is comforting until the silence of reality starts to rewrite it. You know what's wild, folks? People will build entire stories in their minds just to avoid the truth. Narratives, justifications, emotional edits. They'll say they were too much, too emotional, too available. Anything to avoid facing the real reason they pushed you away, because your presence exposed parts of themselves they weren't ready to deal with. But the moment you let go, the moment you stop participating in the script, that entire narrative begins to crumble like a paper house in the rain. They thought they had it figured out, that you were the one with all the emotion, that you were holding on too tightly. So when you finally let go, not dramatically, not with fireworks, just quietly, they didn't panic at first. They were comfortable, secure in the idea that you were still emotionally tethered to them. But here's the twist. You weren't. You had reached a point of peace so deep, their name no longer caused waves in your chest. And that's when the fear kicked in. Not your fear, theirs. Because now, everything they believed about you starts to feel shaky. They start wondering, wait, were they actually too emotional? Or did they just care deeply in a way I couldn't handle? Were they really clingy? Or were they consistent in ways no one else has been? These questions become mental landmines. One wrong thought and the whole fake story explodes. It's funny, isn't it? When you were in their life, checking in, being patient, trying to communicate, they labeled it as too much. But now that you're gone, they realize how rare that effort really was. Now they're surrounded by people who don't care, don't try, don't see them. And suddenly you don't seem so emotional anymore. You seem wise. That's the magic of detachment. Not to make them suffer, but to show, without a single word, who you really were all along. You became the mirror they never wanted. Because when you're gone, they can't project onto you anymore. They have to look inward. And for a lot of people, that's terrifying. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." And that's exactly what's happening. Your absence, the thing they never took seriously, is now the very force pushing them to confront the truth. They start questioning things they once declared as facts. Maybe I did misunderstand them. Maybe I wasn't as ready as I thought. Maybe I messed up. But instead of reaching out, they wrestle with those thoughts alone. Because their ego, it's still trying to hold the old narrative together. But the cracks are spreading. Now every memory feels different. That time you showed up for them when no one else did. It doesn't look needy anymore, it looks noble. That message you sent when they were quiet for days, it doesn't feel desperate. It feels kind. The way you listened when they vented about everyone else, that wasn't weakness, that was depth. And slowly, their version of the story begins to shift. Because you're no longer there to defend yourself, your silence forces them to review the film without commentary. And what they're seeing now is a version of you they never fully appreciated. Let's break a lie real quick. If they let you go, it's because they didn't care. Wrong. Sometimes people let go not because they don't care, but because they don't believe they deserve what's in front of them. So they sabotage it, they downplay it, they label it too intense, too soon, too much. But you weren't too much, my friend. You were just too real for their fear. And now, in your silence, that truth is finally loud enough to be heard. So if you've ever been made to feel like you were the problem, only to realize later that your love, your presence, your consistency was actually a gift they couldn't handle, Drop it in the comments right now. I was never the problem. Say it, own it, let it echo, because someone out there needs to see that comment and remember their worth too. And don't go anywhere, because next we're about to explore what happens when those memories they tried to bury start creeping back in, uninvited, undeniable, and dripping with nostalgia. Stay with me. The silence is only getting louder. Number 5. Emotional flashbacks. Hit without warning. You don't miss the person until your mind drags you back to the moments they never asked you to remember. This is the part they didn't prepare for, folks. The part they told themselves they'd be immune to. They thought they'd moved on. Thought your silence meant you were the one hurting. They even said things like, "They'll come back," or "I'm better off." But here's the thing about emotional flashbacks. They don't wait for permission. They show up in the stillness, when the world gets quiet, when pride lets its guard down, and then it happens. Maybe it's a song, just one note and boom, their chest tightens. Maybe it's the scent of your cologne in a grocery aisle, a phrase someone says that sounds like something you used to say, that one photo they swore they deleted but didn't, and now it's staring back at them. It's like emotional whiplash. One moment they're fine, laughing with friends, scrolling social media like nothing's wrong, and then boom, they're hit with a memory so vivid they forget what they were even laughing at. They didn't expect to miss you like this. Not because they didn't value you, but because they told themselves a version of the story that made your loss easier to swallow, that you were too sensitive, too available, that what you gave wasn't rare, it was replaceable. But now they see your value in the silence, and it cuts deeper than any goodbye. See, here's the lie people tell themselves. Time heals everything. No, time reveals everything. And right now, time is revealing the truth of who you really were to them. You weren't just someone who loved them. You were someone who understood them when they barely understood themselves. And now, in your absence, those emotional flashbacks don't feel like warmth. They feel like regret. Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." And now, their thoughts are drenched in memories of you. Not just the big things, like the trips, the photos, the milestones, but the little moments. The way you said their name when they were upset. The way you made them laugh when they were overthinking. The way you knew when they needed space without them asking. You became their peace in ways they didn't recognize, until you were no longer there to give it. And that's the torment of it all. Because flashbacks don't come with warning signs. They hit hardest when they least expect it, lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering if you've moved on, wondering if they could ever find someone who listens the way you did, who felt the way you did. But here's the real kicker, friends. They could reach out, they could say something, but they won't, because pride is a powerful thing. It'll let someone drown in memories just to avoid saying, "I miss you." And so they stay silent, pretending, smiling, distracting. But nothing quite works the way it used to, because deep down they know that version of you they took for granted. It might be gone forever. Let's break another lie. If they're not saying anything, they've forgotten you. Wrong. Silence isn't always peace. Sometimes silence is chaos they can't express. And when your name echoes through their mind louder than their own thoughts, that's not forgetting. That's remembering. On repeat. You didn't cause this. You didn't manipulate it. You just stepped back. You stopped being the emotional cushion. You stopped absorbing the hits without ever throwing one back. And now the weight of that shift is hitting them harder than they expected. So let me ask you, Have you ever felt the moment when someone finally realized your value, not because of what you said, but because of what your absence revealed? Have you ever become someone's flashback, someone's unspoken regret? If that's you, say it loud in the comments. I became the peace they remember. Say it not with bitterness, but with pride. Because that means you showed up fully. You gave from your heart. And now, without even trying, you've become a memory that teaches them what love really looked like. And don't go anywhere. Because next, we're stepping into the storm, where their pride starts fighting their emotions. Where one part of them wants to reach out, but the other can't let go of the mask. The war between ego and heart, that's what we're about to walk into. Stay with me. The silence is only getting heavier. Number 6, the battle between ego and emotion. The heart knows what it wants, but the ego will burn everything down just to pretend it doesn't. Now we're getting into the real war, folks. The internal battlefield that no one sees, but always feels. This is where it all starts to come undone. Not in public, not on Instagram stories, but behind the mask. Behind the rehearsed, "I'm fine." Behind the fake laughs and confident posts. Deep down, something's unraveling, and it's not you, it's them. Because here's the truth. There's a war going on inside them now. One part wants to reach out, wants to say, "I miss you," wants to ask, "Are you really gone?" But the other part, the ego, it digs its heels in and whispers, "Don't you dare." And so they do nothing. But the weight of that nothing, it's starting to crush them. See, emotion is honest, raw. It doesn't play games. It remembers the way you listened. It aches when your name comes up in silence. It panics when your presence is replaced by stillness. But ego is a liar in a tuxedo. It dresses everything up with pride. It says, if you reach out, you lose. It says, they should be the one crawling back. That's the twisted trap. Their emotion is screaming to reconnect, but their pride won't let them move. It's like watching someone stuck in quicksand with a rope in front of them. And instead of grabbing it, they fold their arms and say, "I'm not the one who fell." But deep down, they know. They know they miss you. They know they misjudged you. They know that the calm you offered wasn't weakness, it was security. And now they've got a front row seat to their own unraveling. Because the longer they stay silent, the heavier the regret becomes. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life." But ego is the opposite of freedom. It's a cage made of fake confidence and fear of being wrong. And that's exactly what they're sitting in right now. They can't reach out, not because they don't feel anything, but because doing so would mean admitting they made a mistake. But my friends, silence doesn't mean peace. Sometimes it means prison. They check their phone, hover over your profile, maybe even start typing a message, and then delete. Not because they didn't mean it, but because they couldn't let go of the illusion that they're still in control. The ego's grip is tight. But emotion is patient. It doesn't fade. It waits. It waits for the moment they can't take it anymore. But by the time they're ready to drop the act, you might be long gone. Not because you're playing hard to get, but because you've grown. You've leveled up. You're no longer the person who waits around hoping someone figures it out. You've become the kind of person who doesn't beg to be chosen. You choose yourself. Let's kill the lie while we're here. If they don't chase you, they never cared. No. Sometimes people care so much it terrifies them, so they hide behind ego, behind attitude, behind silence. But care that never shows up, care that doesn't act, that's not love. That's fear wearing perfume. And that's what you left behind. Not because you were cold, but because you finally realized you can't force clarity into someone who's committed to confusion. So they sit in it now. The late-night thoughts, the fake smiles, the questions with no answers. Because every day that passes, they know one thing for sure. You didn't break. They just lost someone who wouldn't break themselves to be understood. And now I want you to sit with that. How many times did you let your heart lead while they let their ego block the truth? How many times did you try to make peace only to be met with pride? But now, you've chosen silence. And in doing so, you've started a war inside them they can't escape. So drop it in the comments right now if this resonates. I choose peace over pride. Write it. Claim it. Let the world know you're not here to feed anyone's ego. You're here to protect your own growth. And don't move, because next we're stepping into the moment that shifts everything. The terrifying realization that you might actually be gone for good. And when that hits them, everything changes. Stay with me. This storm is just getting started. Number 7. The haunting realization you might be gone for good. They never thought they'd miss you until they realized you weren't pretending to walk away. You were already gone. At first, they didn't take your silence seriously. They told themselves it was temporary, a moment, a phase, just another emotional wave you'd eventually come down from. Because let's be honest, folks, they never truly believed you'd go. They thought the door was still cracked open, that all it would take was one word, one moment of weakness, and you'd be right back where you used to be, available, responsive, hopeful. But you didn't come back. You didn't react. You didn't reach out. You didn't play into the cycle. You stayed silent. And now something is starting to sink in. Something cold, something heavy, something real. Maybe you're not coming back. That realization, it doesn't come like a lightning bolt. It creeps in, quiet, slow, like fog rolling over a familiar landscape they thought they had memorized. But suddenly, they can't see the path anymore. Suddenly, the light they were so sure would always be on is gone. This is the moment they start to panic. But they won't show it, not directly. They'll still keep up the image, still tell their friends, "I'm fine," still post like nothing's missing. But inside, the air's getting thinner. The silence you left behind is starting to echo louder than they can handle. You were the one they thought they could lose and still have access to. They didn't think you'd move on. They didn't think you'd heal. And they definitely didn't think you'd glow without them. But now, that silence isn't just space. It's proof. Proof that you meant what you didn't say. Proof that your peace wasn't a pause. It was a goodbye. Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." And that's the regret creeping in now. All the time they spent playing it cool, all the chances they had to speak up, all the opportunities to meet you halfway, gone. They're starting to remember moments that didn't seem important before, the way you looked at them when they were distracted, the support you gave without being asked, the way you noticed things about them that no one else did. And now with all that gone, those little things feel massive, because now they know they might not get that version of you again. That's what haunts them. Not that you left with noise, but that you left without needing to prove a point. You didn't slam doors. You didn't send last messages. You didn't fight for their attention. You just vanished into your own healing. And that's what hits hardest. Because people expect arguments. They expect begging. They expect emotional fireworks. What they don't expect is peace. That kind of silence is unsettling. It doesn't scream, it doesn't plead, it ends. And when someone finally realizes the story isn't paused, it's over. That's the punch in the chest they never saw coming. Let's break the lie right here. If someone wanted you, they wouldn't let you go. No, sometimes people want you, but their pride wants to win more. So they gamble with your presence. They test your patience. They ignore the warnings, until one day they wake up and you're gone. Not mad, not bitter, just no longer available for the version of them that refused to grow. And here's where your power shines. Because you didn't wait around for the realization. You didn't build your peace on their regret. You built it on your decision to detach with dignity. You stopped dancing in circles and started walking in a straight line, forward. So now they sit with it, the haunting thought that they might have actually lost something real, and not just lost it, but let it slip away without even trying to hold on. That pain, that's theirs to carry now. You're no longer responsible for their clarity. Let me ask you something. Have you ever had someone realize your worth too late? Have you ever felt the moment their pride cracked just enough for the truth to creep in? But by then, your silence had already done the work. If that's you, type it in the comments right now. I'm not coming back. Not out of hate, not out of spite, but out of love for yourself. Show them, show yourself. Show the world that peace, once chosen, doesn't beg to be invited back into confusion. And stay with me, because next we're entering the phase where memory turns to obsession and comparison begins. When they look at everyone else and realize no one feels like you, that's where this story really starts to echo. Let's keep going. Number 8. You became the one that got away, quietly. Sometimes the scariest goodbye is the one that doesn't come with a door slam, just silence that never ends. They thought the chapter was over, closed, archived, something they could skim through on a lonely night and then move on from the next morning. But here's the twist, folks. You didn't give them closure. You didn't beg. You didn't explain. You didn't even leave a trail. You simply disappeared with dignity. And that's when it hit them. You didn't just walk away. You evolved. And there's a huge difference between someone who storms off emotionally and someone who leaves because they outgrew the story altogether. At first, they thought they had you figured out. Predictable, emotional, always there. They thought you'd orbit back like you always did. After all, you used to respond to their breadcrumbs. A story post, a random "hope you're good," a birthday text sent without any real intention. But now, you don't show up anymore, not even as a digital ghost. And the silence, it isn't revenge, it's a reality check. You see, most people don't realize what losing someone actually feels like until there's no longer a version of that person available to them. The one who understood their silence, who showed up consistently, who gave without scoreboard mentality. They thought they could find another you easily, that the world is full of calm souls with deep hearts and no ego. But they're learning now. You were rare. And here's where it starts to twist their insides. Everyone they meet now feels less safe, less grounded, less patient. They smile more, talk more, look good on paper, but they don't feel like you. Because you didn't try to impress. You weren't a performance. You were presence. You didn't chase approval. You were just real. They start to realize that the calm you carried, the emotional safety, the way you saw them, that wasn't standard. That wasn't mass-produced energy. That was yours. And now that it's gone, they're haunted not by what happened, but by what they'll never have again. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good person should be one." And that's exactly what you did. You didn't compete with their ego. You didn't try to win the breakup. You just became better, quietly. And it's that quiet that's now screaming in their life. Because when someone becomes the one that got away, It's not usually about a dramatic ending. It's not about fights or tears. It's about the day they look around and realize they'll never be able to recreate the feeling you gave them with anyone else. Not because you were perfect, but because you were authentic. And now they scroll, they linger, they stare at your name, they replay voice notes you don't even know they saved, but they never reach out. Why? Because to reach out would be to admit they lost someone valuable, and that admission, it would mean facing the truth they've been running from, that they had something real, and they let it slip through their fingers. Let's break another lie wide open. You can replace anyone. False. You can replace people, sure, but not presence, not energy, not the way someone made you feel when they weren't even trying. That's what they're learning now. You were never chasing attention, you were the attention, and now they can't get it back. So let me ask you, have you ever walked away not out of bitterness, but because you finally knew they didn't value the real you? Have you become the one they remember, not because you left loud, but because you never came back? If you have, drop it in the comments right now. I became unforgettable by leaving quietly. Say it, and let it be a reminder to someone else who's still wondering if their silence holds power. It does. It always did. In conclusion, the silence you chose became the message they can't ignore. You didn't walk away to hurt them. You walked away to heal yourself. And in that quiet exit, you became unforgettable. If this spoke to you, like this video, share it forward, and don't forget to subscribe for more.